What if I told you that through the generations, we've been able to see differences in how people tolerate certain acts against certain groups? A lot of people in our younger generations don't quite understand history in its full context and the sensitivity. And a lot of times they try to rewrite what happened with a modern day lens. A while back, Ari Lennox made a comment, Martin, the TV show Martin, and how his treatment of Pam equated to modern day colorism. Immediately, Tichina Arnold clapped back and shot that idea down. But this is the first time now that she's actually having the conversation in its full scope. And this is what she had to say. And this is on Deon Cole's Funny Knowing You podcast. Check it out.
Speaking of people that don't, I'm gonna get to Martin in a minute. But the people who think that TV is real life, I just came aware of something recently that was going on in the news about what's that singer's name? What's the person? No, what's
Ari
the
Lennox.
woman that said something? Is it Ari?
Ari
What did
Lennox.
she say something?
Where the colorism thing, where she felt like Martin was bagging on me because I was brown skinned and because she was a brown skinned girl. And I have heard this story. Like I guess it was.
So it was more than Ari. It wasn't just Ari. Other people.
I think it was only Ari.
Oh, okay.
Don't laugh, because now she gonna be mad at me.
I'm not being mad. Shout out to Ari. No, I love Ari. Shout out to Ari.
I like her. I mean, I don't know her personally, but I like her music, and I met her one time when I was hosting Soul Train.
Yo, Deon made it worse. But he was thinking what we're all thinking.
The thing that pissed me off about Martin was how much he would go on Pam. Like, I know, and this is coming from a girl who I love me a good, joking ass movie. And it, even when the joking movie is like, damn, that was fucked up. I'm not too woke or something is what I'm trying to say. I'm honestly not, I'm problematic. I'm pretty problematic, low key. But my point is that there are some things where I draw the line and it just bothered me. Or I don't know. It's Pam was so beautiful and so fine. And I just feel like growing up as a chocolate girl, I don't even know if I was able to understand the greatness of Pam because of the light that I feel like I was being fed. You know what I'm saying? Continue to speak my mind and happily y'all off in the process. If I had ill intent, I would have came on here with a PowerPoint presentation that backs my claims on the types of jokes Martin used on Pam being wildly offensive. That will never be my intent or motive. But I will stand on business forever knowing them jokes was wild. And I don't say any of this with any desire to rewrite history. Those actors and actresses are legends, and I meant no harm to them. I don't need any army of people defending me or agreeing with me. That has always been a rare occurrence for me. But I feel amazing in knowing that I will validate myself and my feelings before I look to you or yours. Sorry, there we go. This is why it's read. Sorry. I'm going to reread that part. But I feel amazing in knowing that I will validate myself and my feelings before I look to you for yours. I'm also aware that people have been called worse things by people they love and by their enemies. So maybe their experience with Martin was special and therapeutic and unique to them. I never was a fan of roasting, period, as I am a very sensitive and I will for sure drag somebody to hell every time. But we were just playing, right?
I understand completely what she said, and I get it. She did do a disclaimer saying that she is like a shit starter, I guess. She does cause controversy. I get it, but we've already moved past that.
Yeah.
And Martin never ever. So this is a little backstory. Pam was originally for a heavyset girl. So all the jokes on my audition were fat jokes. So I'm literally auditioning saying like with fat jokes, right?
That would have never worked because Pam was bad. Pam wasn't nowhere close to a fat girl on that show. But I'm sure if it was, the modern day retelling of it would be somehow that, this Martin was fat phobic. Martin was my favorite TV show, by the way. I mean, like classic TV. If you haven't ever seen Martin, which I don't know how you're watching me if you haven't, make sure you go check it out. Just watch the whole thing, man.
They ended up changing it when I got the role, obviously, because that's when my body was banging. I was thin. I was like, what y'all doing with these jokes? Because what's happening? 'Cause I'm not getting fat. Like I'm not. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So,
We need a script change.
And she was funny, man. That's the thing. People, they were so talented on that show. Everybody had like a real background, and they put some real actors, some top tier actors around Martin for that show.
So what happened was they ended up changing the jokes, but we were like when I tell you, if you were around on Martin days and on that set, all the funny really happened when those cameras weren't rolling. When I tell you we were cold, it was bad. Like the way we used to crack. So I used to be around a lot of gay men as well. So my reads and my cracks were
Quick.
Oh, I was like, and it was bad. And it was vicious. Oh, it was bad. Like we used to crack to hurt you. I'm going to take you down. You're not going to say another joke for a whole week. I'm going to shut you up a whole week. So that's how it was. I mean, just we had a blast.
Yeah.
And so Martin and I.
And see, that's very important to talk about the context of how it is, because Ari wants it to be something that it's not. If somebody is in that moment and they literally describe it as they had a blast, they were having a blast, there's no way you can come back and then relitigate what they experienced and what it was and what they felt the true nature of that was, the relationship she had with Martin and how they bagged on each other, and I think that's interesting because people talk about it all the time. The culture of, as we would call it, joning or roasting or snapping or bussing or whatever y'all call it, wherever you are regionally, that is Black American culture. And that can be an endearing situation where you comfortable enough to snap on each other. It shows love. And I think a lot of people miss that context whenever they talk about it.
And so Martin and I ended up, because he said something to me often, like when we weren't even working. I was like, and I cracked back at him, and he looked, and I was like, yeah, you didn't think I'm not just an actor, nigga. You got me all the way messed up. So they just started incorporating. So the writers would see it. He had a bunch of his boys around, helping pump up the scripts and stuff and pump him up. Yeah. And they just started incorporating. So it never, ever, ever came from a brown skin thing. Yeah. It started when I really had BDBs in the back of my head. BDBs? I didn't know I had pepper balls. We call them pepper balls. I didn't know I had pepper balls in the back of my head. Because you do your
BDB. Those are some of the best jokes in the world. But there's a whole movement now. You've got creators online who talk about this colorism issue as a specific niche. That is all they cover. And a lot of times what happens is they fixate so much on this idea that they missed the larger picture here. She's admitting she had some BDBs on one day and she got caught slipping and got roasted for it. And it got incorporated into the show, right? Because I'm 90% of the time when you see Pam on the show, she ain't had no BDBs. She was looking good, like it was not, and that's what I'm saying here. They don't make them like Tichina anymore. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that has a sense of humor that can give as good as she gets. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I stop
Pepper
perming my hair.
balls.
My mom called it pepper balls. So I
Pepper
was like,
ball, peppercorn.
damn. So that's when he got me because he started cracking on the back. So they started incorporating anything he and I did off the set. It would be in the script.
Right.
And then,
that's
once the
crazy.
cameras start rolling with him, you don't know what the hell's gonna come out of his mouth. So I just
Right.
be waiting for it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. So we would go back and forth. So it was out of love. It was out of
Yeah,
that's what
what's
we
up.
did. It had nothing to do with color. Like even with Tisha, what people don't realize that reverse colorism happens as well.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And
Oh, really? That's interesting because a lot of people don't talk about that.
I remember Tisha, she would cry sometimes. It would be so bad because we had a live studio audience.
Oh, yeah.
And the black girls would come in and they were there for Martin. And that was like this Def Comedy Jam and stuff. So it was that kind of crowd that would come to our shows.
Yeah.
And they would laugh so hard, they would bang on the floor like you would hear. It was just crazy from the laughter of the audience.
Right.
And every time, the whole first season, every time Tisha would walk out, all you hear was,
Wow.
laugh at her jokes.
Wow.
They treated her horribly.
That's crazy.
And I was treated fine because, you would think there would be me because I'm going back and forth with him. But no, they did not want Martin having a girlfriend.
Wow.
She just
Oh, so yeah, it was multiple things. Like Tisha being the color she is, like that never gets talked about in the colorism debate. Yeah, it's just taken for granted that Tisha is supposed to be able to take these jokes and them coming there for Martin, getting dressed up, coming to Martin, and he's got a girlfriend on the show where they're obviously not going to like her. So there was multiple reasons to hate Gina. Plus, he always talked about Gina's high ass and all types of other stuff, man. He was always roasting Gina. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't know how Ari then gets to, how she feels about things. Like that doesn't make sense at all. And a lot of these colorism channels, shout out to Shay Sharday. She always gets on them. The colorism crybabies, as it were. Because sure, there needs to be awareness to colorism as an issue, but when you make that your whole stance in life, when you start fixating on something, you start to see it in everything. It's very strange that there's blind spots a lot of times that you see in these arguments that are supposed to be somehow activist in nature and they're supposed to be uplifting in nature. But it really just becomes another way to ostracize other people. We could even go down to the whole colorism that goes on with men. It's usually women perpetrating on the men, obviously. The prototype is tall, dark, and handsome. You get the side of it that says, you have a woman that says she wants a dark-skinned man, and that's fine because that is her preference, right? But in the same breath, you get somebody saying how weak a light-skinned person is or how effeminate a light-skinned person is. That never gets talked about in these colorism conversations.
so happen to be light skinned.
Yeah.
The way we used to crap on Tisha about being light skinned, oh my God. It was bad. So we have jokes, but my relationship with that show was never ever, those jokes were never written from malice. It was written from who's got the best
Who's
joke.
got the best shit,
Right.
right? Nah, that was
never
great.
about colorism.
Yeah,
Never.
that's good. That's
Never.
good to know. Yeah, like I said, shout out to Ari, man.
Yeah,
It's all
Ari,
love,
we
man.
understand how you
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, we just
but
want them to be sure.
it wasn't meant that. And so maybe, Ari, you need to talk to your friends and the people that you were around during that time.
Yes.
Who made you feel that way?
Yes.
Somebody, maybe in your family or friends, somebody may have done or said something to you which allowed you to look at things a little differently and not receive them in the spirit that they were given.
And also, any therapists out there, that would be a great area of study and expertise is dealing in issues of colorism, because there's obviously people who have complexes that are surrounding that topic, man. Very good interview. Like I said, suggest y'all go check it out on Deon Cole's YouTube channel. Tichina Arnold, man, a legend, Pam from Martin. Then the mother from Everybody Hates Chris, like she's got a career that goes on, goes even back to Little Shop of Horrors, you know, like just so much talent. You know, that I think that's what we miss in this day and age. Martin was one of the best sitcoms in history. And it's got to be ranked up there, especially coming from my generation, like what we were seeing. We had never seen anything like it. The incorporation of hip hop and sports and the cameos that came on the show, you know, such an influential show. Like Martin was so good, you had other shows imitating Martin's cadence of speech. I noticed that as a kid, and I was like, huh. Now to sell a joke, you have to sound like Martin on a TV show. I noticed that on The Fresh Prince. I noticed that on All That and, you know, Keenan, you know, people started incorporating that because it was successful and it was seen as what it was. I feel like now, today, you know, there is a nostalgia for it, but I don't know if these actors are getting their just due even still. You know, Tichina Arnold, long career. I wish her nothing but the best. So I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comments. You know, it's not necessarily my place to make a call on this. You know, you can't tell anybody how to perceive something that they have coming to them. As Tichina Arnold brilliantly displayed, there was no issue there, and she felt no offense from it. In fact, you know, comedians kind of get along in this way where they cut to the bone of everything. You know, have we gotten to a place where we're too sensitive? We're making observations. You know, Ari has her perspective and she is entitled to it. You know, but some of you all might side with Ari. Some of you all might have experienced some of the same things that Ari did. And I totally get that. And I understand your perspective on how things could be perceived. So anyway, that was good. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. Make sure you sign up for the Patreon, Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.